Hello everyone, my name is Preeti Dhanda and welcome to Prakash Academy. आप सब लोगों का नया सेशन स्टार्ट हो गया होगा और हो सकता है आपके एक एक दो दो चैप्टर तो हो भी गए हों। हम लोग थोड़ा डिले हो गए हैं बट नो वरीज, विल कवर इट अप। तो स्टार्ट करते हैं। आज हम 9th का फर्स्ट चैप्टर फिजिक्स का स्टार्ट करेंगे विच इज़ मोशन। अच्छा, मोशन शुरू करने से पहले कुछ बेसिक चीज़ें फिज़िक्स की होती हैं, वो हम लोग डिस्कस कर लेते हैं, ठीक है। अब बेसिक चीज़ें फिज़िक्स की जो होती हैं वहाँ से स्टार्ट करते हैं। तो सबसे पहले वी शुड नो व्हाट आर फिज़िकल क्वांटिटीज़। अब ये ऐसा नहीं है कि सबको आता नहीं है, ये जो आता है सबको, सबने पढ़ा हुआ है, लेकिन जस्ट एक रिवीजन के लिए हम लोग स्टार्ट कर लेते हैं, ठीक है। तो जस्ट टेल मी व्हाट आर फिज़िकल क्वांटिटीज़। So quantities which can be measured, they are simple physical quantities. आप भी सोचोगे कि ये मैम कैसे क्या बोल रही है, इतना सिंपल सी चीज़, पर पता होना चाहिए इसलिए कर रहे हैं। अच्छा, ये फिजिकल क्वांटिटीज विच वी कैन मेजर, उनके सम दे आर डिराइव्ड इनटू टू पार्ट्स, फंडामेंटल एंड डिराइव्ड। सो व्हाट आर फंडामेंटल क्वांटिटीज? दे आर फॉर एग्जांपल लेंथ, and sidewise I have written the unit, SI unit, the standard unit that we take. When we measure that particular length, we measure in meters. Similarly, mass, we measure in kgs, then time in second. So these are fundamental quantities: length, mass, time, current, electrical current, we measure in amperes. Temperature in Kelvin, luminous intensity, candela, amount of substance mole. So these all, what are they? They all are your fundamental quantities. Now there are some derived quantities also. Now what are derived quantities? Quantities which are derived using these fundamental quantities only. For example, speed. Now what is speed? Speed is, we all know. Tell me, what did you say? Yes, it is distance over time. So distance that is measured in meters and time in seconds. So its unit that becomes meter per second. So this is derived quantity. We derived it using our fundamental quantity. That is why it is derived. Similarly, there are lot many are there. I just gave you one example. Okay. Now, when I am telling about quantities, do all the quantities they have unit? Think. You are going in the right direction? Yes. All quantities do not have dimensions or units. For example, let's take an example, strain. Now what is strain? Strain is, tell me, it is change in length over actual length. Delta L that denotes change in length, and capital L is the actual length. So strain is delta L over L. Now what is the unit of delta L? Again meters. And unit of length is also meters. So they cancel out, and what we will get? Nothing. So strain does not have any unit. So that means those derived physical quantities which have same units in numerator and denominator, they don't have any units. Correct? For example, angle. Now what is angle? You must have done in maths. See, suppose we take a circle. Correct? We take a circle. From circle it will be better to understand. This is the center of the circle. This, suppose I'll take this one and So this is the arc of the circle and this is the radius of the circle. This is the center O. So this angle is arc length, the length of the arc, this one, and the radius of the circle. So again both things in numerator and denominator we have meters only, meter, and radius is also measured in meters. So they will cancel each other. So angle also doesn't have any unit. Okay. So this is what we are doing? We are doing just the basic concepts which are required to study physics. You all must be aware, we are just going through all these concepts. Now there is something which is known as proportionality. Now what is proportionality? We say something is directly proportional to other, something is indirectly or inversely proportional to other things. Now how? We say directly proportional means if one thing increases, the other thing also increases, like how I have written here. This is directly proportional, A is directly proportional to B. And from where we are doing? We are doing from this formula. Suppose this is only let A equal to B by C. Then what we can say? A is directly proportional to B. Correct? A is directly proportional to B. Now what about A and C? They are inversely proportional. Okay. See, this proportionality sign, that does not mean that A is equal to B. We cannot write like this, that A is equal to B. No, they are proportional. But we can write A is equal to some constant, suppose X. A equal to some constant X and then B. We can write like this, but we cannot write A equal to B. When we say they are in proportion, we cannot write they are equal. They have to be some constant with them. Okay, so this is the correct way of writing directly proportional. Okay, so means when A increases, B will also increase because B is dependent on A or A is dependent on B. Suppose A is 6 and X is X and B is 2. So this is 2x I can write. So 6 is equal to 2x. Now if I increase B, so A will also increase. If I say it is 3, B is 3, so 3x, then this will also increase, A will also increase. So this is directly proportional. Inversely proportional, A is inversely proportional to C. From where we are getting? From this only. Okay, A is equal to B upon C. We have taken this as an example only. So this is inversely proportional. Now how B and C are related in this particular thing? Now we can write this only as AC equal to B, or we can say B is directly proportional to C. So that is why I have written like this. Okay. Okay. So similarly we can do for this one also. A plus B equal to C. Here what we can say, A is directly proportional to B or C. Yes, it is directly proportional to C. A is directly proportional to C. How? Suppose A is 3. Okay, let me write. A is 3 plus B is 2, then C is 5. This is A, this is B and this is C. If I increase A, then what will happen? It will be 4. Suppose I take 4. I take B as constant only, then C will also increase. Correct? So, what we can say? We can say that B and C, they are directly proportional to each other. Got it? So, this is proportionality. This will be very useful to you. Then how to read graphs? That is also very important. We all have done graphs, correct? This is the y-axis of the graph. This is the vertical line and the horizontal line, which is the x-axis of the graph, correct? Suppose a graph line, that is this one. This is the graph line. Now, here, this is the graph line. It started from this origin 0, 0 and goes up to some point x2, y2, correct? These are the points. Now, what will be its slope? Slope says, slope is delta y over delta x. What do you mean by delta y? Means change in the value of y. Change in the value of y means y2 minus y1, or what we can say that final value of y minus initial value of y over final value of x minus initial value of x. This is what I meant here, okay? So remember, y2 is the final position of y, y1 is the initial position of y. Similarly for x, so this is the slope or the gradient of the graph. Now, we have done proportionality. Now just tell me, if two quantities, suppose x and y, if they are proportional to each other, correct? If they are directly proportional to each other, then what type of graph we will get? This straight line graph we will get. This is the origin x1, y1 initial, and this coordinates x2, y2, they are the final coordinates. So here slope is delta y by delta x, or I can say this will be y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, correct? Now y2, a value of y2 is greater than y1 here. We know that. From the graph itself, y2 is greater than y1 and similarly x2 is greater than x1. So that is why this particular slope, this will be positive, correct? In the next graph, when y is inversely proportional to x, if we take its graph, then what kind of graph will that be? Like this. This kind of graph will be there, correct? This is for inversely proportional, means if one value is increasing, here the x value is going on increasing while the y value, that is decreasing. Initially y is here, and for this particular value of x, y is this one. So here x value is increasing while y value is decreasing. So here the slope, because here y2 is less than y1, so let us suppose y2 is 0 and y1 is 4. For example, here I have written 4 and 0. y2 is 0 and y1 is 4. So I can write 0 minus 4, and in denominator x2 is greater than x1. x2 is 4 and x1 is 1. So this is negative. So the slope is negative. So slope can be negative also. Okay. Let's go further. Now suppose this is the graph, correct? Now in this case, this I have taken the y-axis and x-axis, and three straight line graphs are given. Just tell me quickly whether they are for directly proportional things or inversely. These lines, they are for directly proportional things. For this, I can say this graph can be when A is directly proportional to B. This graph can be when C is directly proportional to D. And this graph can be when E is directly proportional to F. I can say just like that. Now, for the slope thing, what we'll have to find? We have to find the slope. Suppose for this third line, slope is given by this theta 3 angle. Okay. Now we can see for second line, this particular second line, the angle is this theta 2, and for first one, angle is theta 1. Which angle is greatest? Theta 1 is greatest, means slope of this first line is greater than 2, which is greater than 3. Correct? Always remember one thing, that whenever we calculate slope, whenever we find slope, we always take from x-axis only, not from y-axis. For example, this you have taken for all the directly proportional things. Suppose I draw one graph for inversely proportional. Okay, this and then this. Okay, now I said for inversely proportional, suppose the graph is like this. Correct? Now it will touch the x-axis also if we have to find its slope. Now just tell me, now this is your x-axis and the vertical line, that will be your y-axis. Now tell me what will be its slope. Which angle will it be? Will it be this particular angle, the slope? This way we will find the slope? No, we always take slope with positive side of x-axis, that this line makes with the x-axis. So this will be your slope. Suppose this angle is 45 degrees, let us suppose. Okay, suppose this angle is 45. Then this angle, because this is a straight line, so the total angle is how much? This is going to be 180 degrees. So 180 minus 45. How much that be? Just tell me quick. 135. So this is 135. So here the slope, the angle of the slope, that will be 135. Remember this thing also, that whenever we calculate slope, we take the angle, we take it from the positive side of the x-axis. Okay, and in this graph, as we go this side, this is the positive x-axis. What will be the negative x-axis? From here to here. This will be your negative x-axis, and down also this will be your negative y-axis. Correct? So remember this thing also. So hope you understood what we have gone through, things, different things, the basic things. Today we have done that only. We'll stop here. Tomorrow we'll go further with the motion chapter. If you have any doubt, please comment us. We'll try to solve your problem and get back to you. Okay? If you have liked this thing, if you have understood even a single point, please like, share, comment and subscribe to our channel. Okay? Chalo, see you beta. Goodbye. Take care and have fun also. Okay? Okay.